Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Trump boosts Space Force idea, says U.S. will reach Mars very soon. President Donald Trump predicted on Tuesday that the U.S. would reach Mars very soon and backed the idea of creating a militaristic space force, seemingly expressing support for a measure that faced opposition from officials in his own administration. Touting recent technological advancements, Trump forecast that very soon we're going to Mars, a feat that he said wouldn't have been possible had Hillary Clinton prevailed in the 2016 election. "You wouldn't have been going to Mars if my opponent won, that I can tell you. You wouldn't even be thinking about it," Trump quipped while speaking to service members at a Marine Corps air station in Miramar, California. The president also voiced support for creating a space force to bolster U.S. defenses, appearing to back a proposal opposed last year by officials in the White House and the Department of Defense. "My new national strategy for space recognizes that space is a warfighting domain, just like the land, air and sea," Trump said. "We may even have a space force, develop another one, Space Force. We have the Air Force, we'll have the Space Force." The House Armed Services Committee approved a measure in June to include language to create a U.S. Space Corps, as part of the Air Force, in the 2018 National Defense Authorization Act. But the measure faced opposition from top officials in Trump's own White House and Pentagon. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis came out against the measure in July, issuing a rare statement in support of a proposal to remove language on the Space Corps from the defense budget for 2018. "At a time when we are trying to integrate the department's joint warfighting functions, I do not wish to add a separate service that would likely present a narrower and even parochial approach to space operations," Mattis reportedly wrote in a letter to Representative Mike Turner, Republican Ohio, who led House efforts on the matter. A White House official in July told CNN that creating a Space Corps was premature at this time. Trump marveled the achievements of SpaceX founder Elon Musk, who has said he's optimistic that his company will be able to launch test flights to Mars by as early as 2019. "I don't know if you saw last with Elon, with the rocket boosters where they're coming back down," Trump said during a cabinet meeting on Thursday. "To me, that was more amazing than watching the rocket go up because I've never seen that before. Nobody has seen it before, where they're saving the boosters. They came back without wings or without anything, they landed so beautifully." But Musk, speaking at South by Southwest on Monday, acknowledged that there were still technical hurdles that needed to be overcome before humans could successfully land on the planet. "It's difficult, dangerous, good chance you will die, excitement for those who survive, that kind of thing," he said. Roger Stone tried to meet with Assange, documentary producer says. Roger Stone was attempting to meet with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange in the summer of 2016, a producer for Get Me Roger Stone said on Tuesday. Morgan Peh, a producer for the documentary, said on MSNBC that during an interview with Stone for the documentary, the then informal Trump advisor was trying to meet with Julian Assange. "We don't know if it was successful," Peh said. The Washington Post first reported that Stone interacted with Assange. Stone in the spring of 2016 said he heard from Assange that WikiLeaks had obtained emails that would distress top Democrats, including Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta, according to the Post. Stone's statement came before it was known that Podesta and Democratic National Committee emails were hacked, which the intelligence community later concluded was a result of hacking from Russia. WikiLeaks released those documents in late July and October. Sam Nunberg, a former Trump campaign aide, confirmed to the Post that Stone met with Assange and that he was asked about it during an interview with special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election and Trump campaign. The Washington Post story says that he did meet with Assange, Peh said. I am telling you he was seeking to meet with Assange. We discussed it many times. Stone, a longtime confidant of President Donald Trump, has previously said he has not met with Assange. However, he publicly predicted on Twitter in August that it would be Podesta's time in the barrel. Stone also tweeted in October that he has total confidence that at WikiLeaks and my hero Julian Assange will educate the American people soon. Several days later, WikiLeaks released Podesta's emails. I do not know if he had knowledge, Payne said. He has said consistently that he could extract this idea that John Podesta could be in trouble from public news reports. That's what he contends. I do not know for certain if he met with WikiLeaks in advance of the election, but he was certainly attempting to do so, Payne concluded. Trump After Dark, what a Rex edition. With the possible exception of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, no cabinet member has felt the withering scorn of President Donald Trump's more than Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Today, Trump put him out of his misery, leaving him flat-footed for good measure. Just as he dispensed with his first chief of staff, Reince Priebus, Trump used Twitter to lower the boom on Tillerson. The former ExxonMobil CEO has rankled both the rank and file at Foggy Bottom and, seemingly from the get-go, Trump. The president said he would replace him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo, a plan that first made rounds months ago, before the new year, another sign of Tillerson's tortured Washington existence. The move was fraught with the miscommunications and contradictions that have characterized the relationship between Trump and Tillerson from the outset, Politico's Eliana Johnson reports. While a White House aide said Chief of Staff John Kelly told Tillerson on Friday that the president planned to dismiss him, Tillerson's aides moved quickly to make clear that he had been caught off guard. Inside the State Department, there was a tentative sense of relief, Politico's Nahal Tusi reports. Tillerson was always viewed warily by the diplomatic corps, and there was some hope that Pompeo's tight relationship with Trump would strengthen Foggy Bottom's sway. There were other immediate effects. Tillerson's ouster could endanger the Iran nuclear deal, with Pompeo, an avowed hawk, taking the helm and potentially speeding along the dissolution of the agreement, Politico's Michael Crowley reports. Above it all was a bigger picture view of Tillerson, a celebrated corporate leader, who never really adjusted to his new role both in Washington and serving Trump. Elsewhere in President Trump's orbit. Why this Mattis? Defense Secretary James Mattis had a close ally in Tillerson, and will lose one, but also a weak partner who didn't have much sway with Trump. Has never happened. President Trump will nominate Gina Haspel to be the new director of the CIA. She would be the first woman, but she is a controversial figure because she ran a so-called black site prison in Thailand where detainees were subject to harsh interrogation techniques. Targeting Beijing, President Trump ordered his aides to stiffen potential tariffs on China after aides targeted an initial $30 billion. Trump would like them to be higher. Shulk up? The New York Times reports that President Trump is considering firing Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin and replacing him with Energy Secretary Rick Perry. Mars Bar, President Trump promoted the idea of a military-style space force and predicted that the U.S. would reach Mars very soon. Johnny Rockets, President Trump's body guy, John McEntee, was abruptly escorted out of the White House today by security, as it was announced he would take on a role on Trump's 2020 re-election campaign. Paul Cast, a federal judge said that Paul Manafort stands a significant risk of spending the rest of his life in prison and said in an order made public today that the evidence against him seems strong. Eye on the storm, Democrats have largely avoided the topic of Stormy Daniels and President Trump's relationship with the porn star, preferring to let it unfold on its own. There you have it. You're caught up on the Trump administration. That was Tuesday. Poll voters divided on Trump meeting North Korean leader. Voters are split on whether President Donald Trump should meet with the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, without first securing promises from the North on its nuclear weapons program, according to a Politico, Morning Consult poll conducted after the announcement that Trump had agreed to meet Kim this spring. 41% of voters, surveyed this weekend about a Trump-Kim sit-down, said Trump should meet with Kim without preconditions, slightly more than the 36% who said Trump should meet with Kim only if North Korea makes concessions regarding its nuclear program beforehand. Nearly a quarter of voters, 24%, had no opinion. That result comes from a supplemental survey to the regular, weekly Politico, Morning Consult poll, which was already in the field when the meeting was announced. In the regular poll, voters are sharply divided on their trust in Trump to handle threats posed by North Korea. Fewer than a quarter of voters, 24%, say they have a lot of trust in Trump, 21% have some confidence, 16% don't have much confidence, and 31% have no confidence at all. A majority of Republican voters, 51%, say they have a lot of confidence in Trump to handle North Korea, but 54% of Democratic voters have no confidence at all. Democrats and Republicans have drastically different viewpoints on whether President Trump will be able to handle threats posed by North Korea, said Kyle Drop, Morning Consult's co-founder and chief research officer. While 81% of Republicans say they have a lot or some confidence in Trump's ability to handle those threats, only 18% of Democrats say the same. Trump's overall approval rating in the survey stands at 44%, a point higher than last week's poll. Asked to evaluate a number of possible measures for handling North Korea, majorities of voters support diplomatic efforts, 75%, imposing additional sanctions on North Korea, 63%, imposing sanctions against countries that trade with North Korea, 61%, and adding North Korea to a list of state sponsors of terrorism, 57%. But there is little support for military action, fewer than a third, 32%, support airstrikes against North Korea, while 48% oppose them. Only 23% of voters support sending ground troops to North Korea, compared with 58% who oppose such action. The initial Politico, Morning Consult poll was conducted March 8 to 12, surveying 1,997 registered voters. The survey taken after the announcement on the North Korea was conducted March 9 to 11, surveying 1,992 registered voters. The margin of sampling error for both surveys is plus or minus 2 percentage points. Morning Consult is a nonpartisan media and technology company that provides data-driven research and insights on politics, policy and business strategy.